Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, this is one for the ages, a battle that almost certainly would never end, a family feud you might describe it as, but as ever, family feuds are the sort of feuds that last till the end of time. Guys, I bring you this: Eastern Security Network OYC condemns moves to create tension in Igbo land. So Eastern Security Network, of course, Nnamdi Kanu's organization, his brainchild, a subsect of the greater IPOB structure, and OYC, of course, the youth wing of the Ohanaeze group. So the Ohanaeze group and IPOB group are the two marquee organizations really that seeks to serve Igbo interest, but they are diametrically opposed in the sort of approach that they use. The Ohanaeze is a satiated, steady, conservative, steady as she goes sort of organization. IPOB, on the other hand, is a punchy, militant, aggressive sort of organization. So two different approaches approaching the same want, but of course their style and texture completely different. Again, the headline: Eastern Security Network OYC condemns moves to create tension in Igbo land. So now let's now see what these two fighting within the family is all about. The youth wing of the Igbo Apex Socio-Cultural Organization, Ohanaeze Youth Council OYC, has berated a viral picture of military operations in Orlu area of Imo State in southeastern Nigeria. Correspondents report that some footage of airstrikes shared online by residents of the area have shown people being subjected to military action. Nigerian military is carrying out airstrikes in order to fish out operatives of Eastern Security Network ESN. Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, had set up the security network to secure communities against the attacks from Fulani headsmen. But Ohanaeze Youth Council OYC, led by Agbo Ayaka or Agbo Ayaka, in a statement issued on Thursday night, posited that there was no deployment of hardware for aerial bombardment in Orlu and expressed concern over unverified claims of military airstrike in order to create tension or disaffection amongst the people on social media. According to the group, what has been happening in Orlu since 3 days was merely a routine check by the army, who combed the bushes in the area to ensure it was crime-free and devoid of armed criminal gangs who may be hanging around to foment trouble or cause disorder. OYC said it had observed that some certain groups are always fond of spreading falsehood, propaganda, and sensationalized materials on social media with the wrong motive to raise false alarm and create an impression of what was not actually real. The Igbo youth group insists there is no cause for alarm in Orlu as the city remained calm and the people going about their legitimate activities without any interruption or violence. OYC's statement partly reads: the youth body of the Apex Igbo Socio-Cultural Organization, Ohanaeze Youth Council OYC, ably led by Comrade Agboayaka or Agboayaka as the national president, can authoritatively confirm that, contrary to viral media reports that the military deployed their jets and other hardware for an aerial bombardment in Orlu, there was no such incident today in the Imo State town. Although military jets were sighted hovering round the bush, media reports of a military bombardment and killing of inhabitants in Orlu town were entirely false and misleading. The public should disregard such reports and not take it seriously. It has been observed that some certain groups are always fond of spreading falsehood, propaganda, and sensationalized materials on social media with the wrong motive to raise false alarm and create an impression of what is not actually real. Ohanaeze Youth Council OYC hereby advise such groups and individuals to desist henceforth from exploiting the emotions and sensibilities of the people for their own selfish gains. So there you have it now, ladies and gentlemen. You don't get more direct than that, and that is why I started with the preamble that I did start with. I wouldn't even say they are at loggerheads. These are Ohanaeze Ipob and the Ipob movement. They are effectively at war with each other, is really the reading of it. And this is sort of what you get, the sense you get anytime you read pronouncements by either organizations about the other organization over the course of time. So this has always been the case with Nnamdi Kanu and his organization a bit more direct in their opinions of Ohanaeze, but Ohanaeze, as I said, being a conservative and an established and a more matured elderly sort of organization, they are a bit more subtle in the criticisms that they throw in the direction of Ipob, but nevertheless they do throw these criticisms with a relative frequency. In fact, with increasing with frequency, really almost virtually all the time they criticize the Ipob movement. So now this is now the situation now, but then this is the thing now with the Ipob movement, and this is something that I have highlighted before in the past on several videos. The truth and the lie within the, or should I say untruth, let me not use the word lie, the truth and the untruth within the Ipob narrative is so muddied that you cannot really decipher it unless you are really that much vested in their narrative, and not a lot of people are. So the Ipob movement, especially with their leader, they tend to say a lot of outrageous and controversial things with all sorts of like a spurious and vague evidence to back it up. Like, of course, we already know the Jubril Sudani narrative for Buhari and the silicon mask and the whatever it is. So all these sort of outlandish things that they say, and then they tell us that they have created this Eastern Security Network, and then suddenly you are seeing video clips of what they purport to be the activities of this now Eastern Security Network. So Ohanaeze Ipob, via their youth wing, is now saying that you should take a lot of these things with a pinch of salt, and citing the example now of the activities in Orlu, a community in Imo State, to say this is yet another example where this organization, Ipob, presents you a narrative that is not verified, and when fact checked, always falls short. So this is the thing now with the narrative, especially coming from the two quarters, the two strongholds of the Igbo space, the Ohanaeze and the Ipob movement. So Ipob, it uses a technique of obfuscation. So that is just my reading. Now this is my reading. Ipob uses a technique of obfuscation where they throw all manners of allegations and things out there in the public space, and then debate it vigorously, and then it's repeated by their adherent frequently to the point that those things take on a life of their own. So a lot of those things that they do put out, and we have seen a lot of examples of it to be confident to make this statement against citing the Jubril Sudani. Remember a period when they were saying doing, where's Oshibanjo, he has been killed. Remember the time they told us that Femi Adesina was held at gunpoint in Aso Rock, and he has probably been shot. Remember when they were telling us that Buhari is broadcasting from a car park basement in Cuba, but then Buhari is Jubril Sudani, who wears a silicone mask, who is now dead, to be replaced by whoever, Mustafa or whatever it is. So it's just really, it's just so muddy, the narrative of Ipob, but they throw this narrative out there just to keep that pressure going, or what they perceive to be pressure. So a lot of those things now, what Ohanaeze is now saying is that a lot of these things now are liable to create tension within Igbo land, and as ever, when there is tension, there's a reaction, and every action then, of course, gets its own reaction, and before you know it, it's always the innocent people that end up paying the price, because, of course, the people who foment trouble, they are always cosseted in some high-end place. So this is the narrative now, two strands again, the Orlu situation, or is there an Orlu situation, is really the question, because Ipob has given us a narrative, or Ohanaeze has now countered it, and thus the water rather is muddied, as is ever the case with the narrative that comes out of those quarters. So come share thoughts about all this with me in the comment section. Are you for Ohanaeze Ndigbo, or are you for Ipob? I know that a lot of the people who follow this channel are actually for Ipob, but what is your balanced view is the question. Come share that with me in the comment section. But before you come into the comment section to engage, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because our data helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done the clicking, two choices, or Ohanaeze Ndigbo or Ipob. Come pick your lot in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace.